How's your day been?
So far, so good. Just been taking it easy. For a Sunday, I am actually just about to kind of finish up work for the rest of the year, so it's pretty low stress, which is good.
For the rest of the year?
For the rest of this year, I teach at a school. I teach drums at a school,
that's cool.
and so coming up to Christmas holidays now, I'm about to take. I think we've got like 8 weeks off or something, which is ages. It's great.
Oh, that'll be amazing. Good for you.
Thank
Do you
you.
have
Yes.
fun things planned?
Actually, I've got more work planned, which is to do lots of Christmas gigs. So I'll be dressing up as a toy soldier, which I love.
Oh.
We'll say love. I love.
Oh, that's
but it's
awesome.
fun. It's good. Yeah.
That's really cool. So with teaching drums, do you usually teach children or do you teach all ages?
Yeah. So at the school that I'm at, I teach from the preppies all the way through to year 12 at school. So high schoolers. So we teach
cool.
the full spectrum of it, which is great. Yeah.
That's really cool. So my little dude here, he this is the first one he's actually sat in on, the first interview, and I've done a million of them.
Yeah,
but his name is Hendrickson. He started on drums initially, but he's moved over to guitar, and he's in his first band and now playing guitar.
How exciting is that?
Right?
Man, well done, Hendrix. That's great, man. Well, here's my advice: come back to drums, dude. Hey. I'm totally kidding. I love guitar. If I wasn't a drummer, I think I'd be a guitarist. So it's a good instrument. And it's so cool that you're in a band. That's awesome. Well done.
Right? Pretty cool. So how long have you been playing drums?
I have been playing drums that's a great question. I kind of started when I was about 3 or 4 and then started taking it more seriously when I was about 8 or 9.
Taking it more seriously.
That was like 8 or 9 years old. I was like, right, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be a drummer, you know.
That's cool.
It was about then that I realized I was like, yeah, cool. This is what I want to do. It's cool.
That's awesome. So how did you end up landing with Osaka Punch? Because you're the new guy, right?
I am. I'm the new guy. So I've been in the band for just over a year, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool story. I've actually been a fan of Osaka Punch for a long time. When I was in school, believe it or not, those guys were like a huge influence on me towards high school, at the end of school, you know. And obviously when the old drummer had left, I saw that announcement on Facebook and I was pretty devastated. I was like, man, you know, because he was a big influence on me as a musician. So I went, yeah, right. And then it was kind of like a week later, I was like, hang on, I'm a huge fan of these guys. I know all their music. Why don't I just kind of reach out, you know? And so I filmed myself playing all of Death Monster Super Squad on the drums, plus the latest 3 singles that we have out. And I sent them the videos, and I said, "Hey guys, look, I'm a huge fan. If you need someone, maybe let me know. I'm free to come and have a hit, whatever." And from that, it all kind of came to be that now I'm the drummer for Osaka Punch, which is awesome.
Oh my gosh! So you've been with them for about a year. You guys are working on the new album, correct?
Yeah. Yes, we are. We've got the new album Underworks, which is really exciting. Yep.
Which has been about 3 years in the making.
Totally. It's been quite a while. I mean, since before I joined the band even, you know.
Right.
It's been, you know, from what the boys have told me before I joined, they've been working on it up until obviously now. And it's such a good time. We're having so much fun with it. It's great.
Oh, I'm sure you guys seem like you're all such a hoot. I can't imagine that it's like obviously you all take it serious, but I can't imagine that it's like a super serious, you know, totally. Which is so amazing and so great. So do you have an expected time of release at this point?
We don't have like a set date. I can tell you that we're aiming for next year. So release for next year, hopefully early to mid next year.
Okay.
That's kind of what we're pushing for, because we're still currently in the recording process right now. In fact, Crispy has I think he's got one more song left on guitar to do. And then before he does that one, I think that we're going to start some vocals actually within the next week or 2, which is going to be
nice. Yeah, so you guys are getting really close. So do you already have, first of all, the name of the album? Whether you can tell me or not, I understand.
We've got a few ideas that we're kind of toying with. I won't say anything because I'll keep it as a surprise. But yeah, we've got a few ideas for the album name. A lot of them are very cool. I think we're kind of sold on one of them, which I think we'll end up using, which would be good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then lyrical content. Does he already have? I'm trying to think of what his name is. Jack.
Jack, yeah.
Jack already have all the lyrics written.
Yeah, I think for almost all of the songs, the lyrics are like, I would say 90% locked in. There's I think one song in particular that we're still toying with ideas for lyrics and stuff. One of the songs that it's basically fully recorded, ready to be mixed and mastered. That song's already all the lyrics and everything's written for that one. And in fact, actually, that song is probably my favorite on the album, which I think you'll dig. It's like a real kind of party tune, very Osaka sound. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So so evolution wise, because I feel like the two albums sound pretty different from each other, even though it still has the same vibe. They sound pretty different. So what would you say this album lies in between those, or totally a different evolution?
That's a really cool question. I think especially when I was auditioning with the band and really like diving into all the music, obviously listening to the music as a fan, but then being in the band now, I've learned all the music and analyzed it a lot more. I can tell you that the new album, to me, it's like a really cool mix of like Voodoo Love Machine kind of stuff, as well as Death Monster Super Squad. But there's also kind of a newer sound as well.
Okay.
Maybe something that you might not expect from Osaka Punch, but there's still kind of that hint of that stuff in there, which is really cool.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So on a metal spectrum, because you guys do fall, and obviously I have to ask because I write for a metal website, but on a metal spectrum, do you feel like it might have more metal vibes, less metal vibes, or about the same as the last one?
Good question. Now that I think about that, there's quite a fair bit of metal, you could say. There's quite a bit of heavy stuff actually in the album. I would say it would be on par with probably Death Monster Super Squad. Okay. Maybe even a little bit more metal than that.
Okay.
Definitely, the Voodoo Love Machine was definitely kind of that more like
funky
Mr. Bungle, like funky dog kind of thing. Death Monster kind of started to explore that metal thing, and I think with this one, there's a fair bit of it in the album. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of Mr. Bungle, which is one of my all-time favorite bands, and so let me tell you how I ended up discovering you guys. I had been tagged probably 5 to 6 times in the 12-Foot Ninja song with Tatiana. And I kept wondering why so many, because I hadn't heard it yet, so I kept wondering why so many people were tagging me in it, because while I do like Ginger, it's not something I talk about often, and so I kept thinking, why am I getting tagged so much in this song? And so I finally listened to it, and I was like, oh, it's because he's got patent-like vocals, and completely fell in love with them. And so, and I don't know if you saw, but I got a talk with Stevik a few months ago for their release.
Awesome. Yeah.
He's super funny. I know you guys know him too. So then after that, one of our buddies was like, okay, well, if you like 12-Foot Ninja, have you listened to Osaka Punch? So we were like, okay, well, at this point we're intrigued, Yeah. And so then we checked out you guys, and then my husband's just gone full bored, and so I said, I'm gonna reach out and just see. Like, I don't do this very often. I don't reach out very often. Usually I have people sent to me, so it was fun to be able to
that's really good. I love that.
Well, it's such an interesting style of music. So Mr. Bungle, and then obviously Jack has the patent-like vocals as well with the high range. But I would say, the second album's probably more of like a Faith No More, since it's a little bit of that heavier.
Yeah, totally. There's definitely influence of that. Hey, big time. I've been a fan of Mr. Bungle for quite a while too. So
what's your favorite album?
The self-titled, for sure.
Is it?
Yeah, love that. It's so good. In fact, I was just listening to it yesterday, actually. I love it. It's so good.
Fun.
But yeah, Jack's voice really has that real patternist kind of sound, big time. And I've only just kind of noticed that more since being in the band, But yeah, and I think Osaka Punch, all of the guys in the band, we're all heavily influenced by Mr. Bungle, especially. They're a big band that we love. Yeah.
That's really cool. And you can hear it because, especially with him playing the keys too, totally. It's very reminiscent. He's definitely a lot more animated. I mean, Mike Patton, of course, is animated, but
Yeah.
I would say Jack is much more animated. Is he like naturally a very extroverted person, or is he like that's just a different person on stage?
No, he is much like that. Like how he is on stage, he's like that in person. He is just like the funniest guy to be around. A super positive guy, like really cool energy, you know.
Awesome.
In fact, all of the guys, I love hanging out with all of them. It's been such a cool time in the year that I've been in the band. I feel like we've really connected. But Jack, his stage presence, anytime we play a show, I am just like smiling ear to ear because how he just does the funniest things on stage.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he has such a way of connecting with the audience as well.
Yeah, sure.
When we're performing, and it's such a good time. Yeah.
That's awesome. What a cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
So when you were auditioning, did you have to like tell some jokes or show some animation within yourself as well? Because your guys' videos are all of you guys have to have that, you know, kind of persona.
Yeah, that's actually really true. I think for me, I didn't necessarily try to be like try to showcase myself in being that kind of way. I think the way I am as a person, I think I'm kind of like that anyway.
Oh, good.
Kind of in that kind of vein of like personality wise. But one thing I will say is when I had an interview with the guys before I joined the band, just because we wanted to have a chat, they wanted to get to know me, which totally makes sense.
Of course,
And
right.
And I had this idea to bring them all a rose each, like as if to be on the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. And so I rocked up with 3 roses and I gave them a rose each. And I said, look, guys, I said it's nice to give you guys a present on the first date. Hopefully you remember me, you know.
That's amazing.
That's what happened with that, and I think that worked.
Oh my, yeah, right. You're gonna have to incorporate that in one of the videos.
Totally.
Not to just be like your guys' little thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I gave them all a rose, and I said, look, guys, it's just like The Bachelor, you know, you go on a second date with me, why not?
And they all accepted. How wonderful.
They accepted, that's right. I'm still waiting for the proposal from all of them, though. Hey, I still want to get something on here.
Well, now they all know. So
yeah, that's it. I'll be sure to tell them. Yeah.
Maybe for Christmas.
Very true. Coming up. Yeah, that's it.
Oh goodness, that's funny. So do you know, I know you guys haven't completed the album yet, but do you already kind of have an idea, first of all, of what singles you're going to be putting out? Second of all, is Drones going to be on there? And third of all, are you going to, or do you know what songs you're going to want to start doing videos for? That was a lot all at once.
That's a really, they're all great questions. I can tell you that we have an idea for one single. I don't know. I think we were talking about putting out one more single before the album comes out. But to go hand in hand with that question, you asked if Drones was going to be out on the album. The answer for that is yes. And in fact, How We Operate and Hall of Shame are also going on the album. So those 3 singles will be on the album. But yeah, we were planning on maybe releasing one more before the album comes out. And I think from memory there was, I think it's 10 songs on the album. Yeah, 10 or 11. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but within those 10 songs, those 3 singles that are already out will be on the album. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And do you know if you're going to be able to release it on vinyl?
Actually, yeah, I think we are planning on releasing it on vinyl. Yes. Yeah.
And that'll be the first vinyl, right?
Correct. That'll be the first vinyl from Osaka Punch. That's right. For the album, I can tell you that we've got the album art already done, and the album art is like the coolest thing ever. And we were all just like, we've got to put this on vinyl because it'd just be so cool to have, and the artwork's just going to look totally killer on a vinyl. So I think, and Reggie more so, he's like, man, we've got to make this happen. You know, this is going to be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So with that, do you know if you guys will be able to go back and re-release the other ones on vinyl as well, or are you not quite?
We haven't quite discussed that. I think we would love to, because I know that's something that quite a few people have asked us if we're going to release that stuff on vinyl. I'm sure that that's something maybe later on down the line that we might check out. that'll be my thing for the potential title that I've just shared.
Like, I don't know if you're a Marvel fan, but like Tom Holland, who's always accidentally given away.
Totally, yeah. I'm probably the Tom Holland of the band, yeah.
Which is funny because you're that young guy too, because they're all older than you.
They are. I turned 24 in September, so the guys are like good 10 plus years older than me. So
oh my gosh, how fun!
Yeah,
how fun.
it's awesome. I love it. I feel really fortunate to be able to play with those guys. It's just such a cool vibe, going through high school and really listening to their music and being influenced by them, and now I get to play in the band with them. It's like the coolest thing ever. It's a dream come true.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they're super, super talented. And how both bands, 12 Foot Ninja and you guys, are not more well known and not more out there. I don't understand, because you don't know what to expect, and I love that. Like Mr. Bungle, you never know what to expect, and that's one of the coolest things about, I think, music in general. And there's all different instruments and all different types of music, all put into one, and it's all so well done. Totally. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's I think it's one of those things. It's like 12 Foot Ninja is a great example. 12 Foot Ninja is in fact probably my favorite band, arguably. Between them and Toto, believe it or not. I love Toto.
Toto's so good.
Yeah, all that 80s kind of rock music. I'm like, that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, 12 Foot Ninja, that's a really good call. I mean, those guys, I love their music. And like you said, the whole genre kind of thing and not knowing what's coming up next. So I wish it was more accessible. Not accessible because, I mean, we appreciate it. But I think for the wider community and trying to expose that to, people that might not be used to it, it's something that I wish was a little bit easier to do.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Osaka Punch's music, it's in that same vibe of 12 Foot, exactly.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I'll tell you a secret if that makes you feel any better. Not that my secret is near as exciting or interesting as yours, but 12 Foot Ninja is going to be my number one of the year. And it's the first time that I've done my top 10 that I've been 100% confident with my number one. Usually I'm sweating and I don't know, and I'll move them a million different times, but this is the first time that I'm 100% confident that that's going to be my number one. And then I get a sweat over the next ones.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's hard. Hey, it's like picking a top list of something is really difficult. Yeah.
It is. And music's such a personal thing that it's
totally.
It's not that you're going to hurt anybody's feelings, but it almost feels like a personal attack if they're not.
I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, no, I can relate to that. Absolutely. Because it's you don't want to kind of put something out there and someone gets a bad vibe,
Right.
But I think I agree with you on the 12 Foot thing, 100%. The Vengeance album is just the best thing ever. I can't stop listening to it. I love it. It's amazing.
Same. It's our household has been between that and Osaka Punch.
Right.
And Mastodon, of course, because Mastodon.
Amazing.
Well, and that's just it. Is Mastodon came out with an album. Gojira came out with an album.
Oh, yes.
Who was the other big one? I had three that I was these are three of my Red Fang. Those are three of my favorite bands, and they're not even touching 12 Foot Ninja for me right now, which is so crazy.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's I think that Vengeance album, it's hard to beat. I haven't found anything that's beaten it yet.
Yeah.
Album is just perfect the whole way through. I love it. It's so good.
But you guys are working on it right now, even though it's going to be 2022. You guys are working on beating it right now.
We're gonna try our best. We're gonna do what we can do.
If anybody can, it would be you guys. That's for sure. Unless Faith No More decides to throw something else out there.
Yeah, we're throwing the towel in. We have nothing.
I don't know. You never know.
We might just give our album to them and go, here, you guys.
Right.
Totally. I will say one of the tracks from the album coming out next year has some really cool genre switching stuff in it. In fact, probably it might be something you expect from Osaka Punch, but it might not be. It's really cool. Yeah. That's
what's so cool about Osaka Punch is you prepare to be to expect the unexpected, you don't know what to expect, and so it keeps it interesting because it's man, they can do anything. Yeah. And you're going to be yep, that's what they do, like, you know, and it's cool. It keeps it interesting.
Oh, 100%. That's it. I will say the one thing that we have been discussing with that song and that genre switch is how we're going to pull it off live, because it's pretty we can do it, but it'll be interesting to see how we do it.
Because it's so dramatic of a switch.
It is. It's pretty dramatic, and yeah, we would need quite a lot of musicians up on stage with us to make it happen. I think. Yeah.
You're gonna turn into a 70s rock band. Just have a whole bunch of people out there.
Totally. I think we just need to start hiring like an orchestra just to come around with us. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
How good would that be? We need bigger venues everywhere we go.
So you'd be like at the what are those venues called that are more like for that have like the panels, you know, the sound panels and that are more for like Broadway plays and
totally. It's got like all the tiered seating and it's like a full thing. Yeah. I love that. That's a great idea.
But then it's like a party band that's like that has like super
music has
facetious lyrics and just silly and oh my gosh.
Totally. Yeah, that's it.
But also I don't. So is Jack the one that does the lyrics?
Yes. Yeah. Jack is the one that writes the lyrics. Yeah.
So he does have some lyrics that are very insightful and that are very emotion driven.
Yeah.
Do you know what his lyrics are going to be going into this one?
There's a few. I can tell you one of the songs is one of those kind of like, to me when I hear it, it's one of those kind of emotionally really it's quite insightful. Like the lyrics they're really cool for one of the tracks. But then again, because each track is so different from one another, each track might be like a silly one. Like you said, like one of the tracks on there is, I can tell you, is one of the sillier ones, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
But then there's some other ones that are kind of like, we've got, some heavier ones with the lyrics match the kind of music kind of thing. But yeah, I think Jack's lyrics are going to kind of cover the spectrum, if you will, of having something that might be considered serious, but then the Osaka Punch stuff. Yeah.
Right. Twist to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Drones, do you happen to know what that song is about by any chance?
I don't. I haven't asked. I haven't dived into that. I'm not too sure. I think that's one of those tracks that could be perceived anyway, you know? I think when you kind of go through the lyrics, it could be, I don't know, it could be anything really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You ask him and you get back to me on that because we have an idea and I want to know if it's accurate.
I'll do that. I'll ask him and I'll let you know. Yep.
Yes. Oh, God, I'm just making a mess in here.
That's all right.
Trying to see if there's any. Oh yeah. So when I first heard you guys, I also heard like Incubus.
Yes.
Is that an influence as well? Like old Incubus.
Old Incubus. Yes. That absolutely 100%. That was that's a band actually that I've only recently got into. I have never really listened to early Incubus until joining Osaka Punch actually.
Oh, interesting. And so are they big Incubus fans then?
Yes. Yeah, big time. So the other three dudes are huge into that. Especially the older stuff, like you said. And then since I joined, they kind of put me onto Science, especially.
That's when I saw them.
Yeah, and so you got to see them.
I got to see him on the Science tour. He still had the long dreads, and I didn't know who they were because they were an opener, and floored, and that's still one of my favorite albums.
That's amazing. Yeah, right. So that album is like a new one for me that I'm like I can't get enough of. It's so good. And I can hear Osaka Punch in that style, in that early Incubus stuff. So yeah, big time. The other three dudes I love it, and I'm so glad that I'm onto it now. But the other three guys have been well into it before I have.
That's cool. So you had mentioned before you like some of the 80s rock, and I'm assuming probably earlier than that too, because I think Toto started. I want to say they started in the 70s.
Yeah,
so what are some of your other not necessarily influences, but other bands that you really dig in that genre?
Or
in any genre.
I think for me, I listen to like almost any style of music, really. I could listen to something like 12 Foot Ninja, or even like, for instance, Diada's Murder, where it's like super duper heavy. Or I can listen to Toto, or another artist I really dig is Jamiroquai. I love his music.
Oh,
yeah.
You were born in the wrong era.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, totally. actually, now that I think about it, all the music that I listen to has been like either before I'm born or like when I'm 4 or 5 years old, like really
Yeah.
musical. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
not a
think
bad thing.
totally. I think all of that music stuff sprouted from when I was little, because mum and dad put me onto a lot of that stuff, as well as my brother. He listens to all the same stuff as I do.
That's,
And he's a muso as well. He's a bass player, my brother. So
oh, that's cool.
yeah, so yeah, a lot of those bands like Jamiroquai, even Sting, The Police, like all of that stuff. I'm still listening to it now, and I think it all started from when I was a kid. So I love all of that stuff. It's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. My dad had an insane record collection while I was growing up, and there was, I mean, some of I think the best music had to offer, back then.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about bringing vinyl back is it has, it has a fuller sound, I feel like, and I don't know if that's just because that's what I grew up with, so that's just what I think. But I just feel like it sounds better.
Yeah, totally. That's really interesting. I mean, I've got a couple of vinyls that I've collected, and you're totally right. Yeah, it does have a fuller sound, and it's also one of those things. I feel like for me, just having a vinyl, it's just a cool thing to have,
Yeah.
The one of the latest vinyls I got actually was from Reggie, who got it for my birthday. Was the Dark Crystal soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh,
yeah.
Was it good? I'm
So
trying to
good.
think how, because it would just be instrumental, because I don't think they had any singing in it.
No, it's just all like orchestral kind of stuff, and a lot of like kind of flute kind of stuff as well.
Oh, right.
But, it's so good. Like I had it on a couple of weeks ago and just had the speakers cranked, and it was just sitting there listening to some like eerie Dark Crystal kind of stuff, and I was like, it's so good. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to it. We listen to the Labyrinth a lot
again, I've got that on vinyl too. I love Labyrinth.
Yeah. We have a Labyrinth board game that we play, and when we play it, I put on the Labyrinth soundtrack because we're definitely not nerdy, but you have to. Right?
You have to. That's exactly right. I've got the Dark Crystal board game. So in
fact, a board game?
There's a board game for that. It's like I mean, you could kind of imagine it like a D&D kind of thing, but it's so much fun.
Playing last night. Do you play D&D?
I love D&D. I haven't played it for a little while, but I'm like so into it. Yeah. Yeah.
We just played last night. We've been playing for a year and a half now?
Yeah,
almost 2 years now. Yeah.
Yep. It's so much fun. It's so good.
So much fun. You need to get the older guys into it if they're not already.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, actually it would be so much fun. Yeah. The last time
Go ahead.
Yeah, the last time I played, I was a ranger, and I think I got to might have been level 13 or something. Like we were starting to get up there pretty good. But we were running it with a mate from school who is like really into it, and he knows everything about it. And it was a really fun, silly campaign. It wasn't like one of those how sometimes you can have like a really serious campaign. I've played a few of those too. But the one that I was playing with my mate at school, it was so silly. It was awesome. It was just like do whatever you want. It was great.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. We got to do one like that. We have 2 different campaigns going right now.
Right.
And it's hard keeping track of 2 characters, but they're both pretty serious. I mean, we have fun, but they're pretty serious.
Yeah. Oh, I think the one that we were doing might have been like too silly. Do you know what I mean? Like it was almost anything went. Like it was. I remember, as for an example, my brother's character, he was playing. What was he? I think he was like a dwarven king or something like that, and he had just this like insane amount of strength. And I remember one day we were sneaking through something to steal gold or something, and my brother's character, I think he wanted to roll to like smack the guard on the butt as hard as he could, and he rolled like a 20, like just
no,
and like
he sliced the guy in half.
And, like the ring of the ass slap just like traveled through the entire village, woke up all the locals. Yeah.
That's pretty
crazy. Yeah. That's just one example of what we used to do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah. That sounds like a good time.
I'm well into all of that. Like, oh man, like all the Marvel stuff. I mean, Reggie's really into that stuff. I'm not. I pretend I like to know a fair bit about it, but Reggie knows a lot about it. I'm really into Star Wars. That's my thing.
Oh, we are too.
Right. Totally.
Are you looking forward to Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. But I'm actually really keen for the Obi-Wan series. I'm like, I'm hanging to see that. Yeah.
He's my favorite character. This dude right here is a huge, like his whole room is like Star Wars. And you've been a Star Wars fan for years. Yeah, for a long time. Ghostbusters and Star Wars are like his things.
Yep. Yeah, that's so good. I mean, again, that was like when I was a kid, the whole Star Wars thing was my vibe, and it still is now. I'm obsessed with it. I love it.
Even the new ones. The new ones were great. I don't know why everybody harped on them. I think they're great.
I think I think a lot of the like, they went pretty hard on those films actually. A lot of the critics and stuff, they kind of laid into it. I was like, man, just back off, you know.
I know, just let it. Yeah, I don't know if I felt as many emotions as I have in the last 3 Star Wars because they brought so much nostalgia into it, and then with all the, death, and I don't think I've ever felt so many emotions like anger and sadness and laughing, and I think they do a great job.
Yeah, oh totally. I think the last 3 movies were cool. They were just good Star Wars, But The Mandalorian, I mean, that was
incredible.
Sure guys, so good. Man, I love that stuff. Yeah. In fact, I just recently watched the entire Clone Wars series from start to finish. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't, but he has.
Just a little bit of it.
Oh, I thought you'd seen all of it.
It's like, how would you explain it? Like Big Bang Theory times 10. That's how many episodes there are.
It's endless. Oh man, there's so many. I was thinking the same thing because I think it's 7 seasons, isn't it? I think it's 7 or 8 seasons, something like that. But it's just like, keep going. But I will say this. The last season of the Clone Wars is like easily some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen. It's so good.
Really? So we need to dive into it.
If you guys check that out, you'll dig it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Have you seen the vintage Clone Wars where it's like the old ones that are like an hour long?
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen little clips of it on YouTube, but I haven't watched it.
I've seen like tiny bits. Also, there's a couple Ewok movies and a little show.
I have seen. I'll tell you what. Have you seen Caravan of Courage, that Ewok movie?
I tried to. It was kind of like it reminded me of Dark Crystal almost, kind of. Just
totally,
Yeah.
That's exact. It's exactly like the Dark Crystal. That's a good call. The last time I watched Caravan of Courage, I still remember actually. I had chicken pox when I was like, I might have been like 6 or something years old, and Mum came home. She's like, "Oh, I got you this Ewok DVD," and I watched that like 4 times in a row, and it's just like etched into my brain. Yeah, and it's like just the worst graphics ever.
I'm trying to think. Was that the one like from the 80s?
It might have been actually. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid.
I think it's on Disney Plus now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? Oh.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I might have to rewatch that.
And then there was the Christmas special, the
classic Christmas special. Yeah. I haven't watched. I'll tell you what, I haven't watched all of it because I couldn't get through it. Man. I was just like, what's going on?
There's literally like a 4-minute just scene of just someone teaching you how to cook with like 8 arms.
Yes. That's exactly right. I remember showing my brother, and my brother just looked at me and he was like, "Is this real?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
I don't know. It's Star Wars while I'm watching it. I'm trying to watch it.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Seems like they're always trying to release something at least. And Marvel, same thing, to keep us going.
Oh, totally. That's it. I'm yet to go and see Eternals. I haven't seen that yet. I want to go and see that. But the new Spider-Man movie, I'm like so keen for that. Did you guys see the new trailer for that?
I haven't yet.
I have.
I try to stay away from them because I want to like experience it without any. Yeah.
I think deep down I want to be like that, but the excitement's just too much. I'm like, I need to watch it.
Yeah.
On Monday, I'm gonna have kind of like a Christmas party thing where we rented out a movie theater and we're gonna go see the new Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, right. That is so cool. Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a new Ghostbusters. That's awesome. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday, I think.
Yeah, and it brings back the demon dogs. So they just disappeared after the first movie, which makes sense. But they're bringing back.
How good's that? Okay. I'm gonna have to. No, I was gonna say I'm gonna have to watch the trailer, but you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna wait for the. I'm gonna let myself get excited for it. See, I'm learning. I promise I'm learning.
Hey, you know, some people like to watch the trailers first. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves to watch the trailers first, but I'm just like, I know I want to watch it, so I just want to be a little bit surprised. Because sometimes with trailers, I feel like they do all the funny stuff in the trailers, and then you watch the movie and you're like,
You're kind of like, oh, what's that? Yeah, totally.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you play the Dark Crystal board game. Do you like strategic board games?
I haven't played too many, if I'm honest. The Dark Crystal's like kind of the first one that I've really dived into, but otherwise I haven't really touched much else, to be honest. Other than D&D and that, they're like kind of the two main ones that I've done. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely very strategic and in depth. So what are some of the other things you like to do with your spare time?
That's a great question. I'm very into sports. More so rugby league. I don't know if you guys have that over there. I think maybe.
A little bit. Yeah, we don't have like professional leagues. You know, we have like high school. Some high schools and some colleges have it, but it's not like a big thing. But it's so much fun to watch. My brother used to play.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so like rugby league, in fact, I watch more of it than I should be out doing it. You know, I'd much rather sit on the lounge and tell someone, "Oh, you shouldn't have passed like that."
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm big into sports, but also just like when I'm not, doing Osaka things, in person kind of thing. I'm still always writing music and just trying to be involved in music as much as I can. I just love it. It just brings me so much joy and just trying to get better at the craft, It's something that you'll never perfect, as I'm sure every musician will ever say, but it's just a good time,
That's good that you still enjoy it so much.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's
a good time, and even just like sitting down and putting a record on, I love that. Just sitting down and just having that time to listen to an album and just kind of picking out parts of it and going, man, that's really cool. And why does it make me feel this way? That kind
What's
of stuff.
one of your favorite albums outside of, you already said Vengeance, but outside of Vengeance and outside of Mr. Bungle's self-titled?
That's a super duper hard question.
Yeah. Just throw out a few.
Okay, I can tell you.
It doesn't have to be like, I'm not going to like make it.
Give me a year and then I'll come back.
Right. And it's still going to change every day.
Totally. I think one of the big ones is the album Fahrenheit from Toto. That's like, to me, that's an amazing album. I love that album.
I'll have to check it out. I don't know if I've ever listened to it. I like cool Toto, so. Yeah,
I think it's not one of their most popular ones, and that's actually an album that we used to listen to when we were kids. And back then, I was never really kind of, I would never dive into it, but it's only been in the last couple of years that I've gone, this album is amazing, But it's, that, and also, I don't know if I'm sure you do, you know the band Dirty Loops? Have you ever heard of those guys?
I haven't.
Okay, that actually might be a band for you to check out.
Okay.
It's not rock or metal or anything. In fact, it's like the complete opposite to that. It's like Toto on steroids. It's like the most ridiculous music ever. It's crazy. They have a great track called Work Shit Out. You should check that one out. It's really good.
Okay.
There's just like this killer 2-minute drum solo at the end, and I remember the first time seeing it, my face was just melting. I was like, how is this real? Like, what is going on?
Okay.
I still remember it actually. I was in Sydney on a holiday actually, and I because I love Dirty Loops that much, they were premiering the video at 3 a.m. In Sydney or something. So I woke up, I set an alarm for 3 a.m. and watched it. And I'm in the hotel room just half asleep with the phone on my side like this, seeing this drum solo, and I was just sitting there like, I need to process this in the morning. I just need to sleep.
That's so cool though. I love that. I love getting that excited about a band or a song or something.
Totally. I think maybe that's a band you could check out, Dirty Loops.
Yeah.
Their album, I think they've got 2 albums now, maybe 3. But Lupified is their first album, and they do the most insane covers of popular tunes. They've got one on YouTube. I think it's their most famous one. They cover Baby by Justin Bieber.
I know of the song, but I don't think I've ever actually heard it.
Right. And the thing, I would never listen to that song, right? I mean, I've heard it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to listen.
You're not going to go jam it?
No, totally. Yeah, that's exactly right. But The Dirty Loops cover is the most insane thing ever. Like how they reharmonize the song and it's ridiculous. It's like it gives the song a whole new life. Really, they do Britney Spears, they do Adele, they do heaps of famous people. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
Yeah. So yeah, Toto, Dirty Loops, all of 12 Foot stuff, like all of those. I would love to just put all of their albums in like my top albums ever because they're just perfect. So good. But even like Dream Theater, a lot of their stuff, I'm huge on Dream Theater. Who else? There's so many artists.
There's some incredible. Yeah, it's I get like like your brain starts short circuiting when you get asked questions like that. And I love to ask questions like that on Facebook because I'm curious of what other people's responses are. Yeah. But then like if someone's like, what are yours? I'm like, I can't answer that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like so happy to listen to people tell me that. And then it's like they put, what's your favorite thing? And you're like, I don't know. Yeah.
That's unfair of you to even ask. How dare you?
I'll tell you what can you tell me your favorite albums? Oh, that's hard. It's really hard.
It is because you don't have one. My favorite Mr. Bungle album is California.
Yes.
My favorite Faith No More album is Angel Dust.
Yep.
I'm a huge Corrosion of Conformity fan. My favorite Corrosion album, which is interesting, is America's Volume Dealer, which is definitely not everybody's favorite. The Sword, Age of Winters is one of my favorites.
Yep.
Led Zeppelin 2 probably.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It is hard.
It's hard. Yeah, totally.
Stevie Nicks' Belladonna is one that I grew up on that I love.
Yeah, that's great. Stevie Nicks is killer. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah.
Is amazing. I shouldn't say was because I think she's still going, but
yeah, for sure. Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
All these artists, from like, back in the day. I'll say that back in the day because I'm
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They were back in the day though. Still, even for me, even though I was born in the 80s, so a lot of that music was not a lot of it. One of those albums was before Zeppelin 2 was before this, but.
And it's just so cool. Like a lot of those 80s artists are still getting around. Even some of the 70s artists are still pumping, which is killer. Another band that I really like is Duran Duran, and those guys just released a new album. I haven't listened to it yet, but I think they're still touring and stuff, which is great.
Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, I haven't listened a whole lot to them. That 80s this is gonna sound weird because the 80s synth wave, which Duran doesn't entirely fit under that, but that kind of I don't even know, emo rock type stuff from the 80s I don't love.
Yeah.
So when I heard so much synth on the 12-Foot Ninja album and saw that it was an 80s thing, I was like, gosh dang it, I'm not gonna like this. And then I ended up absolutely loving it. And it actually has helped me a little bit open up a little bit more to some of that older stuff. So maybe I should go back and revisit Duran Duran. They're definitely not one I hate by any means, but they're not one I ever would go and just turn on,
Totally. Yeah, that actually they're big on that synth thing. And I think diving into that 80s music, it helped me kind of get into that Duran Duran kind of stuff because you're right, it's there's so much in it. In fact, you could argue that there might even be too much in it, But,
well, that was the thing back then, though, and that's right. And there's bands that I don't know if you've ever listened to Bleeding Through, but there's bands that have synth that do it super well, that it fits and it sounds well. 12-Foot Ninja is one of them, and then there's other ones that you're like, whoa.
Take a synth chill pill. Yeah, just ease up on it.
Instruments.
Pick up a guitar. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and I love guitar music, and so I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, no, totally.
Put down the guitar. Pick up the guitar.
That's awesome. Yeah, totally.
Oh my gosh. So what about a guilty pleasure band or song?
Yes, that's a good one. I'll tell you what, actually, do you know the artist Dua Lipa?
I do not.
She's I think she's I don't really know her too well, but she's considered like a pop artist now. She's
Okay.
But her album Future Nostalgia, that's like kind of my guilty kind of pleasure. That one's a cool album. It's very poppy, there's no doubt, but there's a lot of cool bass stuff in it. Very 80s influenced. It's really cool.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
It's a good one. Yeah. I think I rate that album. It's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How about your favorite drummer?
Oh, okay. That's a super duper hard question. Wow. I don't know if I can.
Your top 5, like just throw some names out there. Again, I'm not gonna hold you to these and be like, hey, well, you said.
Yeah, totally. I'll tell you what, Jeff Beccaro from Toto, just his feel and groove, just obviously he's no longer with us. He passed in, I think it was the 90s, but just his legacy, you know, just the whole vibe that he left on all of the recordings he ever put out. It's just awesome. Aaron, there's the drummer from Dirty Loops, actually, Aaron Mellegard. I think that's how you say it. They're Swedish. I have no idea how to pronounce their name. Totally, yeah. So Aaron Mellegard, he is like, to me, just the like coolest all-round modern drummer, you know. Just really cool sound, really great parts that he writes. A drummer that you might know is Shane from 12 Foot. He's a huge influence on me. In terms of like actually writing drum parts and performing them. Everything, I would say a lot of the writing style, how I write my drum parts, come from Shane.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Which is awesome. But yeah, it's just like a lot of those guys, huge into that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Cool. So were you a Neil Peart fan?
Oh, big time. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I am like, he is the coolest drummer. Well, was, obviously.
Right.
But my first introduction to him actually was from one of my school teachers. I think the teacher was like an English teacher or something. And he was from, where was he from? I know he was from the US. And he said to me, he's like, oh, man, do you know Rush? And I was like, I've never heard of him. I think I was in like year 8 or 9 at school. And he was like, man, you got to check out Neil Peart. And I was like, okay, cool. Went home that afternoon and listened to, what's the song called? Tom Sawyer. And I was just like, okay, Rush, this is my new thing. So like I went on this huge Rush binge and then became obsessed with Neil Peart, and just like his whole drum setup is like the coolest thing ever. Got like that big circular drum kit with electric drums and everything, and even like a xylophone or something, or a marimba. I don't know. It's crazy.
yeah. Crazy set. Yeah. What about favorite band you've seen live?
Okay. I would either have to choose between Toto or 12 Foot Ninja. 12 Foot Ninja, because the energy levels are just insane. Like, they go so hard on stage and they sound like incredible, just massive sound. Toto, I got to see them in Sydney. That would have been 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, 2 years ago. And those guys just came out, and it was like, it's very different to 12 Foot, you know, like they're not.
Oh yeah.
They're not jumping around, and you know.
Well, they're 100 years old, so.
They come out with all crooked backs. They're like,
they're like, we're tired.
We're tired. Yeah. Play a 30-minute set, have a quick nap, and then come.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those guys were like. To me, that was the one band that sounded as they sound on the album. Like, they came out and there was like, I couldn't tell the difference between the album or the live gig. Awesome. It was insane.
That's awesome.
But 12 Foot, have you seen 12 Foot live? Oh, okay. Yeah. When you get to see 12 Foot live, you'll know what I'm saying. They're just insane. It's so good.
It does not surprise me. They're as goofy as you guys are, and yeah, I mean, every time a new video comes out, I'm like, yes, I get a laugh.
It's a good day when a new 12 Foot thing drops. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 2 stories, if you don't mind me. I'll do them very quickly.
No, go. Yeah, no.
The first one I'll say was talking about some of the best gigs I've ever seen, or best live performance. It was actually, would have been 2016, maybe even 17. 12 Foot Ninja were playing a show up in Brisbane. So I live on the Gold Coast, which is just down from Brisbane, in Queensland. But up in Brizzy, they were playing a show, and Osaka Punch were actually opening for 12 Foot. And so that was like, Osaka Punch to me were just insane. I couldn't believe that was the first time I'd seen them live.
Oh, that's cool.
And their whole stage presence was just like the energy, the humor on stage. Like we were killing ourselves. Like I was with a bunch of mates, and we were killing ourselves laughing. It was so funny. And then 12 Foot came on after them. So to me, that in my mind is still one of the best performances I've ever seen. Was Osaka Punch, then going into 12 Foot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then talking about like a 12 Foot video dropping or a song or something. It would have been a couple of months ago. I was down in New South Wales with my family. We were coming back up to Queensland, and we got caught over the border, and we had to quarantine down there for 14 days. We couldn't come back into Queensland, and so we had to stay in this place called Evans Head. Beautiful, like little spot, really really nice. But we were there for 2 weeks, so it was kind of we were kind of getting cabin fever, just doing our heads in. And towards the end of that stay, they dropped Over and Out. 12 Foot dropped Over and Out.
Oh, uh-huh.
And like that just got me through the rest of. I was just listening to that like 8 times a day, just like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah. Got you through the rest of it.
Oh, totally. And then by like the 3rd day, I already knew how to play the drum parts. I was like,
That's what music does, though.
Analyze it all.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's
awesome.
such a funny video.
Yeah. Oh, the video. I'm still trying to process that whole like dream gravy thing and
so funny.
The whole end part. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's a pretty genius video. But that's what's cool. That's what music does for us, right? Is it gets us through those hard times, and that's what's so cool about being able to, especially now that you get to share those experiences and be a part of those experiences for other people. Oh, what a cool thing.
It is, absolutely. It is a really cool vibe. I think one of the best things or the best feelings ever is just when you're on a stage playing or even in a crowd and you're just having the best time of your life. And like for me, when we play with Osaka Punch, the couple of shows that I've played with the boys, you can just see how much fun people are having in the crowd. And that just like, it just hits me so hard, and then I want to just put out as much as I can. It's just the best time. I love it. It's so good.
Right. What a cool thing to be a part of. I mean, yeah, in the audience as well, obviously, of course, it's an incredible experience, but I can only imagine what it's like on the other end of that.
It's so much fun. And then you've got like, the connection between all of us on stage. Like Jack, he makes me laugh, man, when we're on stage. Like, He does these dance moves and says these things, and I just can't help but burst into laughter. They're hilarious. It's so good. But in fact, I just talking about it, I can't wait to get out and play a show. I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Do you have another one coming up yet, or are you guys just focusing on putting the album together?
I think we have one booked for next year, which is to open for COG at a venue up in Brisbane, the Tivoli, which is a great spot in Brisbane, a really cool venue. We've got that booked at the moment, but we'll see what happens with the COVID thing. It's never certain anymore, It's like you can lock something in and then it changes a couple of months later, But we haven't got anything else booked currently for the rest of this year, which is cool because that's just going to allow us to just smash out as much as we can for the album.
Right.
And then
that's one good thing about it.
Totally, and that's exactly right. It's kind of with the whole COVID thing. I mean, there's no doubt the negative, which is not being able to play shows or tour, but then it's allowing us to really knuckle down and get as much done as we can with the album, and hit the ground running for next year. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Do you guys probably don't at this point, but are you hoping to have plans to tour the States?
Yeah. That actually, yeah, we have kind of talked about it. Depending on, again, with the whole the COVID thing,
right?
Because the cost and whatnot to tour, it's going to be pretty heavy. But the touring the States is something that we really want to do. Touring Australia, the States, just everywhere. We want to get around as much as we can and play because we want to get out and show people the new music and everything. It's going to be awesome. I fingers crossed. I really hope we get to do that. I really would love to.
I hope so too. At this point, we're about ready to move to Australia because obviously you guys are a hoot and a lot of fun, and we're not having so much fun over here. So we're like, where do we want to go?
Totally. Well, I mean, I haven't followed with the whole COVID thing. It's pretty gnarly, So I try to, with the whole news and everything, I try to stay away from that as much as I can.
Definitely.
It's just so negative all the time. It's like, just punching negativity in your face, and it's like, man, I can't deal with that. But
Same.
it seems for you guys it's pretty rough over there still, hey?
Yeah, in a lot of ways for sure, but same. I mean, it's stuff that you can't control, and so at some point you're just like, you just you got to live your life and enjoy your life as best as you can, and leave that stuff that's uncontrollable.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Yeah, no, totally, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we just got to punch through it. Eventually, we'll come out of it, and the music. Osaka Punch through it.
Right. I got that.
before we know it, hopefully we can just get back to normality and how it was, and just get back and play some kick-ass music for everyone. It's the goal. Yeah,
we will. I mean, the world has seen stuff like this before. We will. It's just hopefully we're all going to be bloody and beaten up and exhausted, but we'll get there. And then music's going to revive us.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Music will revive us. That's too right. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So what is the best way people can support Osaka Punch right now?
I would maybe say just going to our Bandcamp and just maybe grabbing a t-shirt or even an album, like a disc copy of the stuff, because we've got CDs of Voodoo Love Machine and Death Monster Super Squad. But otherwise, just checking out the social media, just interacting with us. We love it. We love to kind of talk with you guys and hang out, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just awesome.
Where do you guys usually do that through, so that way fans can know where to connect with you guys?
We're always through Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two main ones. Yeah. So just if people want to just have a chat with us through there, that's cool. We're always free to have a talk and just hang out, which is cool.
Cool. Any of you guys do Twitch channels?
No, we don't. That is actually a really cool thought, though, doing that Twitch thing. I've seen a lot of musos do that, actually. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Some musicians are not doing too shabby on there. I interviewed a guy that from a fairly well-known band last year. I think it was last year or earlier this year. I don't know. I can't keep track. But he said he was making more money there than he was for sure through music. And I want to say probably not his job, but definitely through his music. And like I said, they were a pretty big band. And so, it might be a good, and you can connect, more with people. And
totally. Yeah, that's a really good call. It's something I see a lot of, actually. A lot of the people I follow on Instagram and Facebook have that Twitch thing happening, which is really awesome. It's great. And like you said, it's a great way to connect with people. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you guys are all, so entertaining, so funny. I'm sure you would not have a difficult time having followers come and see what shenanigans you guys are up to next.
Yeah, the daily shenanigans of Osaka Punch. That's it.
Are you excited or nervous to be, because you're not in a video yet, right?
I'm not in a video yet. That's right. Yeah.
So are you excited or nervous or both to be an actor?
Yeah, I would say a really good mix of both. I'm super excited to definitely be a part of it, but also nervous because it's like, all right, I got to get my acting hat on, and I've got to be a silly goose. But I think when it comes to it, I'll be good to go for it. I reckon. We have. You're right. Sorry. You're right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say you have your fellow Australian Chris Hemsworth that you can call up and get some ideas from.
I'll pull up some Thor. Just hit him up and be like, hey man, can you? I might actually just get him to replace me. I imagine that'd be so much fun.
No, you don't want that.
We'd get a lot more views.
Maybe you could just have him like in the background in there. He was pretty funny in Ghostbusters, so I'm sure, and he's funny as Thor in some spots, so he's probably a pretty funny dude.
Pretty funny guy. Yeah, that's it. I'd love to have Chris Hemsworth in a video clip. In fact, that'd be the coolest thing ever.
No, you guys definitely would. I mean, yeah, hit a few fans through the Marvel group.
Yeah.
Well, and probably even outside that too, because I'm sure he's been in other things besides Marvel and Ghostbusters, but those are the only two that I know of.
I was going to say the only thing I kind of know him is as Thor. Really, that's about it. I don't even.
Did you see the Ghostbusters with the girls?
No, not yet. Actually, I know about it, but I haven't seen it yet. No.
It's so funny, and he is so funny in it.
Okay, I'll have to watch it then. Yeah, cool. I need to see that and the new one that's just come out. I'm actually keen to see both now. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's your homework.
That's my watching homework. I can't wait. My movie homework.
Really tough homework.
Yeah. Just kick back. I've got a drink in my hand. This is the best homework I'll ever do. That's it.
Right? I agree. And I won't even make you take notes.
Oh, I thank you for that. I actually, the reason why I've just completed my master's degree, so I'm
congratulations!
Thank you. I'm so overstudy right now.
The last thing you want to do is any kind of homework or book or read or anything. So, what did you get your master's in?
So I got it in a master's of music performance in specializing in jazz drums, even though it's titled that. It's titled jazz drums, but it's not. I'm not a jazz drummer. I wouldn't consider myself,
Those are some pretty incredible drummers, jazz drummers. So I'm sure you definitely got lots of awesome advice and tips and tricks and stuff throughout it.
Big time. It definitely gave me a new perspective and outlook on the way to look at the instrument for sure. Yeah. That's cool. I'm very relieved that it's finished now. I'm not going to be studying for a little while. Yeah,
and that's great. Congratulations. That's really exciting.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. It's
last question.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
You're right. You go.
I keep interrupting you.
No stress at all. No, that's me. I keep talking.
Oh, I'm doing the same thing. We're doing really good here with the back and forth, but I keep interrupting. What is your favorite drink?
Okay, I love beer.
What's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer right now, I would have to say, is a beer. I think it's brewed in Byron Bay, and it's called Stone and Wood beer. What kind of beer is it? The pale ale. It's like a fruity beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's delicious. I love them. But also more recently, I've been into the Scottish beer Tennent's. That's really nice too. I'm just trying to think what else. There was another one, a German beer. I can't remember the name of it. I had one of those recently, and it was really good. But Stone and Wood is my go-to. Like if I'm at a place that has alcohol, I'm always going to go for the Stone and Wood.
I wonder if we have any of that here at some of the specialty places. My favorite beer is actually a German beer, but I can't find it here anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right. The one that I had, whatever it was called, it was delicious. It was so good.
Do you know what kind of beer it was? Not that they don't have like 800, and the one that you're saying, it's definitely not going to be the same one that I like, but that'd be weird.
I have no clue. It was just like, I think it was just a normal kind of beer, but it was really good, whatever it was. It was at a German restaurant that we have down here. In fact, I'll have to go back and have another one.
Find out what kind it is, or what the name is.
What the name is, It's like, I just remember it was like some super duper long name. Like it was like 20 something letters in the name. I was like, I can't say it.
I'm going to take a nap if I even try to pronounce that.
Totally. But no, that Stone and Wood beer, I don't even know if you guys would get it over there, but if you did, it's something to try. I just really like the kind of fruitiness of it. It's really good. Yeah. I'll
have to see. We have some, what are they? I don't know. Some places that bring in international beers that you can go in and grab them from. But I haven't been there for a while, so I don't know for sure what they have now because they quit selling the one that I always went for, so I quit going.
Yeah, totally. No, that's it.
Apparently, I was the only one buying it. So.
Right.
I'm like, I'll keep buying it.
That's it. Don't stop getting it, man.
Right.
Stop bringing it in, and you're like, come on, what's going on?
So rude.
So rude. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, is there anything that I didn't cover that you feel like you would like to say or put out there that I didn't ask?
No, that's cool. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time and thank you for supporting the band. It means a lot to us that you guys are really digging the music, and I really can't wait for you guys to hear the new stuff when it finally comes out next year. I think you'll really dig it. As someone, I guess, even when I joined the band for the first time, it was really cool because the boys would send me the music for me to write drum parts to. But I was still in that kind of fan mentality of I get to hear the songs first, but I'm actually in the band,
Right.
It's like I would get the new tracks and then I'd go and say to my brother, I'm like, I got to hear the new songs, man. Can't hear them yet.
That's funny.
I'm like, you don't get to hear them for a while, dude.
That's funny.
As in that fan mentality, I guess I can tell you that if you dig the other stuff, the other releases that are out, you're definitely going to love the new music for sure.
I have no doubts. And if you guys do send it out early to anybody for reviews, please consider me, because
absolutely.
I don't do reviews super often, but I actually came out, because I do interviews more than anything, but I came out of review hiatus with the 12-Foot Ninja one, just because I'm so busy with interviews. But yeah, if you want it interviewed, or not interviewed, if you want it reviewed, I would definitely enjoy reviewing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. We'll keep you in the loop for sure. Yep. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much.
Thank you. One more thing.
Yeah, of course.
We missed out on your birthday. I would like to play you a song.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, well done. Hey, thank you so much. I feel privileged to have been given a music performance today. Wow.
I know, he doesn't do that for hardly anybody, so that was a pretty big thing.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Awesome. Right, thank you so much, Blair. I hope you have a great day.
Yes, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go have some beers and play some Mario Kart and.
Good. Yeah. You know what you're doing. That's good. You know what's good. Yeah, you go and enjoy that.
And look forward to the tomorrow that you're already experiencing.
Yes. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully you got sunshine and happy weather.
Yeah, it's okay if not. I don't mind that.
Like in the
I was
future.
actually, I'm in the future. That's right. I'm gonna be the I'm gonna come back in time and listen to that happy birthday again. Hey.
There you go. Awesome. Have a great day. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome afternoon and evening, and enjoy Mario Kart. Hey.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guys.